even if we don't have consistent access to it, having it light up and activate as a result of another inspiring person and what it is that they bring to our orbit of influence, that's what we're here to do. That's precisely what it is that we are here to explore and express and to experiment with. So I've got a funny little secret to share. You know, these Facebook groups and these different influencers and creators and entrepreneurs that are human design coaches and trainers and teachers and the like, they have these groups that are exclusively for projectors or manifestors or generators. I haven't seen too many reflector groups just because they're a lot more rare. They only comprise 1% of the population, you know. But I have a little confession to make. I joined them all. Like, I join every single one, and it's honestly to prove a point. These groups that, and I am not knocking these coaches that, you know, maybe they themselves are a projector or they're a manifester, and so they have figured out the ways that work for them, and so they are monetizing that. They are selling these skills that work for, you know, this aura type, for these specific people, right? But here's the thing. These are monocultures that are being cultivated, and I can tell how much they are thirsting for a different energetic expression whenever I hop in there with my enveloping generator energy and I start interacting. I just start being me. But it's funny because monocultures are an abomination. They're not supposed to exist in nature. We make them exist. We tweak the landscape so that this thing only is what grows. But what ends up happening in monocultures is an increased risk of disease and famine whenever a blight will, you know, sweep over the landscape and knock the whole damn crop out. We're not supposed to exist that way. And forgive my nature metaphors, but it's amazing what you will see flourish whenever you plant a little garden. And in this garden, I mean, I'm gonna share with you some of what I learned during my time getting my anthropology degree. In Mexico, in the poor areas of Mexico, and I live in Texas, so I have a lot of exposure to this culture, okay? I've lived in Texas, Central and East Texas my whole life, and in Mexico, specifically in the poorer regions where people don't have any money and they have to grow everything that they're going to eat, they will grow 3 crops because that's what they can afford and that's what they can sustain to cultivate. They will grow a stalk of corn, and on that stalk of corn will grow a bean sprout. And at the base of this stalk and bean sprout, that's like a vine, and it vines up the stalk of corn, right? At the base of this arrangement is a squash that is like kind of a ground cover foliage. And all of a sudden you have this comprehensive system that not only nourishes the people that are growing it with all of their essential vitamins and proteins and the minerals that they need to survive, you also have a sustainable system for crop rotation. You have these different species that add different things to the soil whenever they are, whenever they've been harvested. And it's amazing what this creates whenever you have an ecosystem of many different types. Now I'll weave in the human design aspect. If you're only cultivating a group of projectors, I want you to envision what that looks like. Or a group of manifestors, I want you to envision what that looks like. So with projectors, we have a bunch of penetrating auras, but no defined sacral centers, okay? Like, this is not sustainable. This is going to be something that is, these projectors do really well pairing with generators. So too do manifestors for different reasons. For different reasons do they, the two of them pair well together to create a holistic experience of energetic exchange, okay? And it's, if you have a room full of manifestors, you have a room full of repelling auras. Everyone is repelling everybody else, and nobody wants to be told what to do, and nobody wants to listen. And maybe they'll listen to this one manifestor who has hoisted themselves up on the top of the pinnacle pyramid as the expert in the room. But how, this is a paradigm that is swiftly dying, you guys. This is something that is, this is total cross of planning bullshit. Forgive my French. It's not bullshit. It served its purpose. It was there for a reason, and I'm glad that it was there, because just like the cross of rulership can be, that's what came before the cross of consciousness. And if you hop into my membership, I will share all of these different global cycles with you from my perspective of ancient human history and how it's affected us through these different paradigm shifts that we have met with. But the cross of rulership, that was the enslavement of people, the enslavement of generators like myself specifically. That was it was the serfdoms, the chieftains, all of the uprisings in how we harnessed energy beings so that they could do all of the work. But it would be at the behest and only manifesting the visions of the non-energy beings, i.e. the manifestors, because the projectors had not yet hit the scene in 1781 during the cross of rulership. The cross of rulership brought us out of the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages where starvation was the norm, and infant mortality rates were very high. The likelihood of survival to age 40 was slim to nil. And we needed a system to bring us into, it was an elevation of our consciousness to pool our energy in this way at the level of the collective, and it catapulted us out of the Dark Ages, what's known as the Dark Ages of, humanity on planet Earth. So it's, to call it bullshit is a little one-sided, but it is, so it served its purpose. Just like this cross of planning has served its purpose. We have bolstered up these institutions, these, these really, really big vision collective creations of corporations. I mean, this whole system of where like the majority of the wealth is owned by, you know, less than 1% of people. I think it's like 70 something percent of the world's wealth is owned by 0.01% of people. Some crazy, I mean, you can see why I would call this, I would cite this as bullshit, but it's because it's not serving us anymore. These systems that created these phenomena, they did serve us at one time. This is the cross of planning. It's the categorization of our efforts into specific niches and specific nooks. This is the hashtag phenomena, right? Where we are pooling different ideas and concepts into different topics and categories. And after a time, though, after you do that, eventually what ends up happening is you get fewer and fewer categories. And then all of a sudden we're all just lumped into one big category, and it's like individualization is what is the focus all of a sudden. And that is what we are seeing here at this paradigm shift between the cross of planning and the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which will begin in 2027. We're right at that cusp, you guys. We just have a couple short years left. And that's why we're seeing things go a little bit haywire and chaotic, and it are feeling like they are speeding up. It's not so much that time has speeded up. It's more that the focuses have shifted. The focus is on what's important and what it is that we are going to be pooling our energy and all of our efforts towards is going to be shifting towards more of an individualized circuitry. That's going to be the key, that we're seeing it move more in that direction of. And yeah, it's insane. Like, it's gotten to this level of insanity, you know. It's where the cross of planning, that it's served its purpose, and I give thanks to it. I really do. Like, I'm happy that I was born at the time that I was. We all chose to be born at this time. Like, you chose this specific experience of being human. You don't remember that choice necessarily, but it's we chose to be born at a very specific time in human history. Because, like, think about it. You could have been born in the cross of rulership and been one of the serfs that were tied to the land, like property or furniture that was passed down to, like, through lordships over generations. And you didn't even have, like, an identity concept at that time. You didn't have a sense of self. You didn't have a sense of value as an individual, and that served its purpose too. I'm not saying it didn't, but it's important to recognize, and it's important to realize that we are in the throes of a massive paradigm shift. And it is, it's only going to increase in intensity as we near closer and closer to 2027, when the cross of the sleeping phoenix is going to, it's going to be upon us like no other, where we have no idea what it's going to bring. And that's the nature of paradigm shift in general. It's like chaos for a while. And so your life probably feels that way. At the individual level, it probably feels like absolute chaos. Like, you don't know what to expect. You don't know how the fuck you got here. You, like, you know, this doesn't feel like how it was supposed to turn out, you know, because it's absolutely flying in the face of that previous paradigm that you, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, all of these generations before you, back 400 plus years, have all been subjected to. Okay? So that is the nature of your confusion at the individual level. It is interwoven in at the collective level in this global cycle shift that we're experiencing. And one of the features that I will say that is definitely going to be an essence of this new paradigm is exactly why I hopped on here. These monocultures of the like manifestor communities, and this is a projectors club only. If you're not familiar with human design, these are different aura types in the human design system. These even generator communities, which arguably generators are probably the only aura type that can exist as a monoculture, and I'll tell you why. It's because we were the original ones. We were the original aura type before there were the non-energy types. But here's the thing. We wanted to experience something different. We wanted a differentiated expression of a new aura type that we could be in the orbit of influence of. That's like the nature of what this life is about. That's why consciousness exists in this fragmented fashion. It's for that individualized experience. Generators, we were seeking that out, much like the single-celled organism evolved and mutated and was seeking something else, a different experience in a different terrain, in a different landscape. And those landscape metaphors can be likened to the consciousness of the human being, okay? We were seeking something different, and that's why these non-energy types came into existence. I mean, the manifestors and the reflectors are the oldest, or the oldest other than the generators. The generators are the oldest, the original. And then came the reflectors and the manifestors. The most recent emerging are the projectors. You know, and I call them the paradigm shifters for planet Earth because they arrived at a very auspicious time in human history. And this is something that I'm discussing in my membership as well. And if this is something that interests you and it's something that you would like to relate your own individual life into the fabric of human history from, you know, an anthropological perspective, because that's what I offer, but also from the perspective of energetic transference and exchange, because each of us offers a different flavor. We each offer a different different palette of color, if you will, like, because we all have access to all of these energies. Even I don't even like the term non-energy beings to reference the manifestors and the projectors, because it insinuates that they do not have access to the energy of the sacral that the generators do, and that's simply not true. And you know when it's especially not true? Whenever we stop having these monocultures of one aura type and we start cultivating these holistic creations, these gardens of many different types that we can all mutually benefit from. And that's precisely what my membership offers. Whenever we have manifestors and generators and projectors, and hopefully one day we have some reflectors join, that would be amazing. But as of now, we are a small, tight-knit group, and there's a lot of intimate exchange in between all of us. We're all experts in our own field of interest. Most of us are online entrepreneurs, but many of us have brick and mortar establishments in the 3D world, and some of us are published authors, and some of us are motivational speakers, where we show up in the 3D to host events, and we're all involved in our own form of deep work in the world, which is amazing. And it is something that we all get to mutually benefit from each other's activated gates and activated channels of energetic transference so that we can feel what that energy, how it manifests in our own body, how it manifests in our own lives. Because even if we don't have consistent access to it, having it light up and activate as a result of another inspiring person and what it is that they bring to our orbit of influence, that's what we're here to do. That's precisely what it is that we are here to explore and express and to experiment with. Okay, so that's what this membership offers. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but there's something that is calling you to learn more, what I'm referencing is the human design system. And you will have access to an online library of resources that will catch you up and spill the tea, so to speak, on what this is all about and how it is used as a brand new modality. It's only been in existence, it was only gifted to humanity in 1987. But what's amazing about it is that it interweaves the modalities and the philosophies from all over the world and from all across human history, from ancient China to in the I Ching, the 64 ways is absolutely integrated. This is a crucial piece to understanding, and it's been utilized in gene keys, if you're familiar with those. Gene keys is a direct relation to human design, but human design takes it further. Human design also references the chakra system of the Indus River Valley, which has mutated. It has shifted. It is very different than it was in, like 3,000 years ago, whenever this system was created. This is we're working with a different circuit board because humanity has evolved, right? And so too have our energy systems. And this is referenced. The chakra system is absolutely a core model that will help you to understand the energy centers of human design, but it is a different, it's a different thing now than what it was. So it's something new to explore and to learn more about why that doesn't apply any longer. And it incorporates so many other things. I want to tell you more, but I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to drop that link for you to join my membership if it calls out to you. And if you don't have your chart yet, I encourage you to reach out to me. I want to get that generated for you right away, free of charge. Because even if you don't join my membership, I want you to explore this system for yourself because of how much it's going to change your life.